Hi everybody, welcome to the stream, the trending stream, where I break down what is happening trending-wise worldwide. So please subscribe and click and hit that bell to get the latest video notifications. In other words, when you hit that bell, you should be notified when I make a brand new video. And if you're not, just refresh this channel multiple times a week, if not almost daily. I try to come out with new information to keep you in the know. Well, here we go. Today is March 17th. It is St. Patrick's Day. We're going to get into what is St. Patrick's Day, some things you probably never knew about St. Patrick's Day. I don't celebrate it, but it was trending, especially when you see Leprechaun and the complete ranking of 8 Leprechaun horror movies. I mean, people want to look at horror. They like the scary stuff. Again, this is what it's all about. Some little demon man running around chopping people. I mean, guys, it's pretty bad, the world we live in. And this is what's trending right now. Also, we know that St. Patrick's Day, they have the parades, green beer, and God knows what else goes on. Y'all know the scoop. And so it is what it is. The craziness continues on. Let's get into the real meaning of St. Patrick's Day, and then we'll get into things you don't know about St. Patrick's Day. Well, St. Patrick's Day, or the Festival of St. Patrick. Patrick is the day of the Festival of Patrick, is a cultural and religious celebration held on the 17th of March. The tradition's death date of St. Patrick. So they celebrate this day on the death of his day. That's weird. The foremost patron saint of Ireland, Ireland. St. Patrick's Day was made an official Christian feast day in the early 17th century. It was observed by the Catholic Church and the Anglican communion, especially of the Church of Ireland, the Eastern Orthodox Church, and the Lutheran Church. The day commemorates St. Patrick and the arrival of Christianity in Ireland. This celebrates the heritage and culture of the Irish in general. So that's basically now what it is. But as the Christians, they were like, hey man, this guy was a saint. He was a good guy. He brought in Christianity, whatever. And now it's just, it's a culture of Irish. The celebrations generally involve public parades and festivals, wearing the greens of the shamrock. Christians who belong to those denominations also attend church services, and historically, the Lenten restrictions on eating and drinking alcohol were lifted for that day. Oh, okay. So let's get there. Let's go into the green beer here. Green, drinking green. Yeah, right. Get out of here. But anyway, drinking alcohol, which has managed or encouraged to propagate the holiday's tradition of consumption. St. Patrick's Day is a public holiday in the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, the Canadian province of the Newfoundland of the Labrador, and all these things of the British overseas. So it's all over the United Kingdom, all over Brazil, Argentina, New Zealand, especially amongst the Irish. St. Patrick's Day is celebrated in more countries than any other national festival. I bet you didn't know that one here. That's another fact. Modern celebrations have been greatly influenced by the Irish diaspora, particularly those that developed in Northern America. However, there has been criticism of St. Patrick's Day celebrations for having become too commercialized. Yeah, baby, we know that. And fostering negative stereotypes of Irish people. And so there you go, guys. There it is. The Irish, kiss me, I'm Irish, all these things. Yeah, okay. So here we go. 7 surprising facts about St. Patrick's Day you probably didn't know. Again, while St. Patrick's Day is now associated with wearing green, parades, when they're not canceled, and beer is holiday is grounded in history that dates back to 1,500 years, and the earliest known celebrations were held in the 17th century, as I said, in March 17th, marking the death of St. Patrick's. So here are some things that you probably didn't know. Here's number 1. The real St. Patrick. Patrick was born in Britain, right? He's a Brit, right? Well, that, again, if you know the history, as I just went through, he went to Ireland, as the first Christian or bringing Christianity. Much as what is known of St. Patrick's life has been interwoven with folklore and legend. Historians generally believe that St. Patrick's, the patron saint of Ireland, was born in Britain, Ireland, near the end of the 4th century. At the age of 16, he was kidnapped by Irish raiders. So they kidnapped him, sold him as a slave to the Celtic priest in Northern Ireland. After toiling for 6 years as a shepherd, he escaped back to Britain. He eventually returned to Ireland as a Christian missionary. Number 2, did you know that there were no snakes around for St. Patrick's to banish from Ireland? The legend associated with St. Patrick's is that he stood upon the Irish hillside and banished the snakes are there from Ireland, prompting all serpents and slithers away into the sea. In fact, research suggests the snakes never occupied the Emerald Isle in the first place. There's no signs of snakes in the country, fossils, records, and the water surrounding Ireland since the last glacial period. Before that, the region was covered with ice and would have been too cold for reptiles. What about those leprechauns, eh? The leprechauns are based on Celtic, whatever, fairies. The red-haired, green-clothed leprechauns in common association with the St. Patrick's Day. The original Irish name for these figures of folklore are leprechaun, meaning small-blooded fellow. His small-blooded fellow. Belief in the leprechauns likely stem from Celtic beliefs in fairies, tiny men and women who could use their magical powers to serve good or evil. In the Celtic folklore, leprechauns were cranky souls responsible for mending the shoes of the fairies. So again, they're little demons, right? And this is what we get here, give me the gold, I want the pot of gold, the leprechaun, we take, oh yeah. So anyway, yeah. What about this? Number 4, shamrocks was considered as a sacred plant. Well, the shamrocks, a 3-leaf clover, has been associated with Ireland for centuries. It was called the Siamora of the Celts. That was considered a sacred plant and symbolized the arrival of spring, according to the legend. St. Patrick's used the plant as a visual guide when explaining the Holy Trinity. So you got the 3. By the 17th century, the shamrock had become the symbol of emerging Irish nationalism. Number 5, did you know that the first St. Patrick's Day parade was held in America? While people in Ireland celebrate St. Patrick's Day since the 1600s, the tradition of the St. Paddy's Day parade began in America, actually in the United States. Records show that the St. Patrick's Day parade was held on March 17, 1601 in the Spanish colony, and now which is called St. Augustine. I've been there in Florida. The parade was the first in the St. Patrick's Day celebration. A year earlier was organized by the Spanish colony of Irish vicar Ricardo. That sounds real Irish. More than a century later, homesick Irish soldiers serving the English military in Boston, 1737. So Boston, the Boston Irish, okay, there you go. The Celtics, get it? And in New York City, March 17th, enthusiasm for the St. Patrick's Day Parade in New York City, Boston, and early American cities only grew from there. In 2020 and 21, parades throughout the country, including New York City, Boston, were canceled and postponed for the first time in decades during the C-19. What about this? Number 6, the Irish were once scorned in America. Love or hate the Irish, I love them. I love all people, right? Christ said to love our brothers and sisters. Well, the Irish Americans are now proud to showcase their heritage. The Irish were not always celebrated by fellow Americans. Beginning in 1845, the devastating potato blight caused widespread hunger throughout Ireland. Approximately 1 million perished. Yeah, that was the perish of the people there, no food. Another 2 million abandoned their land in the largest single population movement in the 19th century. Most exiles, nearly a quarter of Irish nations, came to the shores of the United States. Once they arrived, the Irish refuge were looked down upon as disease-ridden, unskilled, and a drain on welfare budgets. Wow. And here's one for everybody. I like this food. The corned beef and cabbage. The corned beef and cabbage right there was an American innovation. The meal became a St. Patrick's staple across the country. Corned beef and cabbage was an American innovation, while ham and cabbage were eaten in Ireland. Corned beef offered a cheaper substitute, improved immigrants, Irish Americans living in the slums in lower Manhattan in the late 1900s and early 2000s purchased leftover corned beef from ships returning from the tea trade in China. The Irish would boil the beef 3 times, the last with the cabbage to remove the brine. And there you go. And it is what it is. So there it is. Some things you didn't know about St. Patrick's Day. Wanted to put that out there. It is what it is. Again, it's trending. I wanted to put it out there. May God bless you all. Have a blessed day. And I'll see you in the next trending vid here on the Trending Stream. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody. See you in the next one.